Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Rashaad Washington. I'm glad to be here on both sides of the spectrum. I'm here, one, as an employer with my company, ProTrainer MKE, but also as the CEO of ProTrade Job Development. First, I want to thank ManPower for allowing us the opportunity to host this event here, allowing us to host. And then also, I would like to thank the Milwaukee Bucks because they provided the food. I would like to thank Sherwin-Williams because they have gifted us with raffle tickets, not raffle tickets, but gift cards for the raffle. So hopefully those that have not put their business cards in the Milwaukee Bucks bucket back there that Josh has, please do. We have a couple of good raffle things going on. So I wanted to present to you basically my story. So for the employers that's here, so you can know exactly how ProTrade birthed and how ProTrainer birthed. The quote says, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it." So I just wanted to let you know, basically, the statistics that she just described, that was absolutely me. Who am I? From a standpoint of the prison system, I am an ex-offender, but I'm also a father. I'm a husband. I have 3 boys. I have a daughter that's special needs. I love the Packers. And these numbers are not my inmate numbers, by the way. Basically what that is I have, look, I forget what the 11 was for. I have a 14-year-old daughter. No, I've been married for 11 years. I shouldn't forget that, right? Okay, so I've been married for 11 years. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have a 9-year-old son, which is Rashaad right here. An 8-year-old son, which is Armand right here, and a 6-year-old son, which is Ramon. And I'm 32 years old, and my wife is 33. I grew up fatherless. As you can see, my father is absent in the photos. But I'm glad to say that me and my father now has a healthy relationship. One thing I can say about that is that with having the absence of a father, every son is always waiting on his Superman, you know, which is that father, that example, and things like that. But because of my past, I grew up with positive and negative influences. You know, I can say right now, one of the gentlemen right there is actually in prison doing life for murder. I had my daughter, my first daughter, new birth but devastating, but she was my life changing. She was my life changer, and she gave me purpose. As you can see, she was in ICU right here. To this day, she's in a wheelchair. She can't walk, she can't talk, but we communicate, you know, through different forms, you know, love and affection. I made poor choices growing up. But as you can see, the quote I put, "Things did not spiral down but up after my encounter with the law. I got clear direction in the way in which I wanted to go and not to go." It was 2 things that was not in prison that made me never want to go back. And that was money and women at the time. Love and location met. This is my mother. Her name is Julia Weatherall. And when you get out of prison, you know, a couple of barriers that people face is housing. That's a really big barrier. And having a good support system. You know, statistically, you have a lot of people that come from the inner city into single-parent households. So if your mother is receiving, we have a student right now where his mother receives Section 8 housing, and felons can't stay in there. So now he has to find places to live, and his father is gone. So it's hard to stabilize and do the right thing when some of just your basic essentials are a struggle. So luckily my mother, she had her own house and I was able to move in with her, but also I was able to use her vehicle to at least work the $7.25 job that I had. And these are just some of my life-changing moments that I wanted to share with you guys that lead up to me becoming an entrepreneur. One of the first things is the discovery of me. When I got out of jail, the first thing I did was change my associations. And I'm glad to say 2 of the 3, and well, all 3 of these individuals are now entrepreneurs and they're not in the streets no more. All 3 of them own their own separate businesses. The first person I met when I got out of jail, not met, but who directed me was Eddie Smith. He's an entrepreneur. He has a landscaping company, and he's been an entrepreneur for 30 plus years. And he told me what I wanted to do with my money was buy a car. He said buy a house. So I bought my first house, then I bought my second house, and then I kept buying houses. And that's when the market was booming, and they was giving loans to anybody who had a Social Security number. So the next encounter was I met this individual right here, Scott Smith. So right after I got out, I heard that I met his wife, and she said he's hiring, give him a call. I called him for 2-3 weeks straight, and I'd never get a call from him. He'd never answer. And I'm like, hey, your wife told me you was hiring now, so give me a call, and he would never call me. So then I was so desperate to not go back to jail, I left him a message and said, I'm willing to work for free. He called me back within an hour. He started me off at $8 an hour, and I learned how to rehab houses. I learned how to install floors, drywall, insulation, wainscoting, and things like that. And that's what made me really look into the real estate career. After he ran out of work, I worked at Lena's for $7.25 just to stay out of jail. I was not able to live off of $7.25, but I had to pay child support or go to jail. So I worked at Lena's. Then I was introduced to an individual named Jeffrey Lewis that introduced me to the real estate appraisal business. I became a real estate appraiser for 2 years. Then after that, I met this individual that allowed me to work up under him as a real estate appraiser, which then I was able to provide for my wife at the time. We were married. After that, I ended up meeting this individual right here. Is there any painters in here that know this Mike? Okay, no. So Mike, he's no longer alive, but he taught me how to paint. His company was Clean Cut Painting, and the first house I learned how to work on was on Lake Drive. The backyard was the lake behind there. And it was like either I learned how to become a painter or I'm going to be homeless because I needed work. So I learned how to paint really fast. He coupled me with one of the best painters on his company, and I learned how to become like a professional painter, which, for me at the time was cutting, because those were the good guys on the bottom. Like the guys who didn't know how to paint was up top. So I'm like, well, how do I get down there? And he was like, you got to learn how to cut. So I learned how to do those things really fast. And then later on down the line, I ended up starting my business. And this individual right here, his name is Jim. I call him Good Old Jim. Because he called me one day and was like, hey, your painting is good, but your prices are too low. I was fine with making $200 a day, and I paid my workers, and that was my profit. I wasn't paying taxes, so $200 was a lot of money. and he said, your work is good, but your prices are too low. I said, okay. He said, I got a siding job. I was going to charge the guy $25,000. I told him painting it cost $10,000. Give him a quote. I went there. He was like, how much? I was like, $10,000. He's like, okay. So we did the work, and I was able to see I could really make some money in the painting industry. And that's when I got serious about growing my business. And then this individual right here, his name is Bill, and what he did, he came in and looked at my company, and he actually helped me grow it. He helped me acquire business loans, get my finances together, which my financing company is here, if it's any small companies that don't have those services, as well as paychecks, which they help with my payroll. And this individual has consistently helped me grow my company and my business model in spite of me trying to run 2 businesses at one time. The pride of employment, my opportunity. I just wanted to show you guys this because when I got a job, once I got out of jail and I worked at Master Lock for a little bit, this picture right here meant so much to me because I was able to buy my daughter a leather coat or a lamb coat from Wilson's, if those who remember Wilson's, the leather store. But it meant so much to me because it was hard-earned money, and I was able to do that. Before it was the street life, so it was like money come, money go. But to work hard and know that I'm changing my life and I'm able to provide for my child meant everything to me. Even just the picture, going to take pictures and being able to take her to Chuck E. Cheese and things like that. So because of that, I took pride in whatever job I had. And then once I got deeper into the trades, I took pride in my work. Purdy paintbrush, right? If you're a good painter, you're using Purdy or Lidco or whatever it is, the other one. But I invested into proper tools. I understood that timeliness mattered. I understood that protecting other folks, things mattered and things like that. This was a property we painted, and this was the before, this was the after. And I really took pride in what I did to make sure that I could sustain the lifestyle and the future that I wanted for not only me but my family. And now going up to talking about who is ProTrade. ProTrade Job Development is a training entity, but our focus is not only training folks for the trades, because as employers we know that it's not necessarily the skill that one is fired, it's kind of the baggage that they bring into the work area or that they miss work for of why they typically get fired. So what I did was I customized a training model where we focused on the soft skills first. So the first week before we even talk about painting or carpentry or concrete, our focus is what are the choices. So one of the things we do is choice training for an entire week. And we look into their decision making for relationship, spirituality, finances, associations, their inputs, like, what type of things are they looking into, what type of things are they listening to, and things like that. We focus on all of those things first before we begin to talk about the skill, because they need to figure out what are their barriers. Because we can tell them what they need to do, but if they don't understand what their barriers are that's holding them back from getting to what they need to do, then they're still stuck in one way or another. So we have a 2016 and beyond initiative of creating agents of change. So an agent of change is someone that's decided to change their life from doing the wrong things to doing the right things. And doing the right things would consist of being a good father, being a good role model in their community, respecting the elders, as well as being involved in so many things that's needed. Milwaukee is in such a bad place that we need more examples for the youth, because the examples that the youth have now is not many. So if you could take 20 individuals and now they're all doing good, they're providing for their families, now we're changing the culture and the future of a city. So our initiative is called 100 plus 100 equals 1, and basically our goal is to get 100 employers to hire one individual. So then it's not a barrier on you to say, hey, hire 5 people. No, we're just looking for partners and employers to partner with us and give individuals a shot once they complete our training program. In order to complete our training program, you go through a 90-day training program. You can only miss 2 days. So attendance is critical to us just as it is to you. Attitude in terms of attitude is important to us just as it is to you as an employer. Attendance is important to us just as it is to you. So when we created the training model, it was trying to make it as parallel as possible to a real employment. The only thing is they don't get paid. It may sound bad, but this is the thing. If you have somebody willing to commit themselves for 90 days and not get paid to improve their life, I think it says a lot about them being serious about changing their life and working and learning something to apply themselves. There's a couple of seats up here if you like. Thank you. Yeah. So who do ProTrade serve? ProTrade serves chronically unemployed. We serve ex-offenders. We serve those that are in a disadvantaged situation and those that are underemployed. So anyone who's looking to change their life and get into a career path or a new career, those are the individuals we serve. We have some individuals that come in with no offenses and they just want to do better. They may not have a college background, so they're trying to get into a trade to be able to provide for their future family. So ProTrade had the eye for the guy with the eye. So as you can see, like this is our old training model. We focused on detail. I believe if a person can become skilled in interior paint and exterior paint is a lot easier. So our training facility, we had 80 square feet per student. We had a window that they can cut in. There's crown molding up top and on the side. There's a lock. There's locks. so that they can really learn how to work that brush and cut and things like that. And then we, show them how to skim coat and things like that. So you can see, like, there's drop cloths. We had Sherwin-Williams come that day. I think Ryan came in and was teaching the students about, the different tools and things like that. So this was our old but trusty facility. It was a small room, as you can see. And this is a quote that nobody is a perfect man, but every man can be good. And my point of me saying this is that everybody makes mistakes. And we have this double standard where we say folks should go to jail because they make wrong choices, but then when they come back, how many people, not just in this room, but how many people is giving them that chance to show that they have been changed and they have been rehabilitated? So I just wanted to share with you guys the impact that my daughter is making, because this is the very reason why I'm changed, why I am who I am today. And this is what my son said. She is not doing anything, but she is doing the most things for other people. And the reason why he said that is because you see how long her hair is. Her hair grows extremely fast. And what we do so often is we cut her hair, and it's donated to Cancer Society. And my daughter does not live with me, and this is something that her mother does. And he thought about how she's affecting people all over the world. Kids that they have to put on wigs and things like that. And it's like, she's perfect. She's going to heaven for sure. You know what I mean? It's like we have to work to make sure we get there. So I just wanted to share that. And then my other son, the middle child, said, she's one of my role models because she hasn't done anything wrong and she only do good things. And I wanted to share this with you. Fact. Every new hire or transfer comes from a different background, possesses different authentic strengths, and suffers unique weakness. So as we know, anybody in here can think about your strongest painter. All of you guys know what his issue is at the same time, right? We all know he has a weakness. So it's the same thing with dealing with someone that has some type of damaged background. Yes, they have that part, but they also have some strengths. It's just up to us to see if we can find that. By taking the time to fully train and incorporate a new hire or transfer, you're investing in the future of your company. I believe long-term, slow and steady wins the race is my mindset. So I would train guys. By the end of the year, they'll be good, and the next year, they'll be phenomenal. But I don't have to pay them all the way up here, but they're willing to work and grow within your company because of you giving them an opportunity. Consider that half of all hourly workers will leave new jobs in the first 4 months, and half of senior level employees hired from outside the company will quit or be fired within 18 months. Compare these stats to those from companies with outstanding onboarding programs like Corning Glass, where employees are 69% more likely to stay on for at least 3 years. And what I looked into this company and how they did it, and what they did was they had a onboarding program where the individual will come and he'll learn the basics from this guy, and then he'll go and work with this guy and he'll learn this skill set, and then he'll go with this guy, because then what it did was cultivated a culture where he don't feel that, because I don't have the skill set, they put me with the slow guy. And we've seen that with companies where they kind of put them with the wrong person, and because of that, the person failed. It wasn't that they wasn't willing to apply themselves. It's just that they were partnered with the wrong person. So, and I put that right there in terms of a leader says, let's go, versus, a manager says, hey, do this. By tailoring the entire process, including the types of interactions your employees have, you can expedite the process and create a win-win situation in which your new hires learn faster and are able to stand on their own 2 feet sooner. And this is a quote, like we had a Christmas party. We try to cultivate a family culture. And it says, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And I believe if any company build their model based on that quote, it'll be a successful company. And what we know. This is what ProTrade knows, and this is how we built our model. Timeliness is important. Willingness to want to learn is important. Character to accept constructive criticism is important, and a basic skill set is important. And these are individuals that work for various different companies. This guy is working with Bellcraft. This is with SDC Drywall. And this is Greener Roofs and Gardens. And these are individuals that came through our training program. And just lastly, I want to say that for the employers that came, the painting companies that came, we look forward to working with you guys. And thank you from the pro-trade students. And now I have small business accounting.